Flashbacks.
What was your first reaction when you got with, and we'll get Pete will find it, where you copped the grubber, the unplayable grubber. What did you think as it hit the stumps?
No, well, what can you think? What can you do? I mean, again, did that just happen? And because there were a lot of balls that misbehaved that particular test match. I mean, the cracks were huge, but not many did something different on the stumps.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was the only one to get bowled off a grubber like that. And
I reckon that's still it's still the in terms of a lot of, and it always comes up in jokes when you're commentating, and all that sort of stuff, Bluey. But it's probably the one where you go, well, that's just ridiculous. Like, there was carry on at the G at one stage with Greg Chappell when the G was terrible, when the test match against India and when Gavaskar walked off and all that. That's a bit earlier on, obviously. But I reckon that's still the dismissal, where the one where you just, you still jaws dropped.
That's just,
it was just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous.
What do you do? I remember in the first innings, like, really battling to be out. Like, I occupied the crease, but I really struggled to score at a good rate. And when I walked off that first innings in Perth, I went, no, if I bat like that again in the second innings, I'll get the same result. So I really made a decision second innings that I was going to come out and try and, be a lot more proactive and take the bowling on more. And then to get that first ball, I was just walking off just going, well, it wasn't meant to be that test match. So that's all you can do, I think.
Oh, I thought you took it really well. I reckon would have been some players who would have spat the dummy and thrown the bat and all that. So
toys out of the cot. I think
you actually took it very well.
Yeah.
Of course, you're also unfortunately on an Australian level. You got a few 90s as well, including one here, Bluey, and that which, as we know, if you converted 3 of them more, you probably end up playing more tests. So it's the old fine line, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You're right. Like, I got one that really hurt was I got 91, I think, up in Brisbane, and it was just a shocking LBW decision.
Yeah.
And I was pretty confident I would have got 100 there. And then, I got the 299. So, I mean, the big thing with my test career is that, I got 400s and I got 1550s.
Yeah.
So, if I was able to convert, a few more 50s into 100s, then, there's no doubt I would have played some more test match cricket. You score 8 or 900s and less 50s, then that's sounding a bit better, isn't it? Like, your average is a little bit better, and you're contributing to the side a little bit better as well. So, look, that's my doing. No one else's fault. So, at the time, I just wasn't good enough to be able to convert those 50s into 100s. So, unfortunately, that's just the way it was, and that's the reason I played 46 test matches and I didn't play maybe 60 or 70.
But you were involved in a pretty golden era, I suppose, for Australian cricket with, Ricky Ponting, Langer, Taylor, Hayden, and yourself coming through at that stage there. Spots must have been up for grabs.
Yeah, let's not forget Darren Lehman only played 23 test matches, and we all acknowledge how good Buff was. So, and, Stuart Law played 1, Martin Love played 5, Brad Hodge played 6. So, geez, there were some good players who, it was bloody ruthless for a spot there for a fair while.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's a really good point, and I think that's the difference being, like I was, in the end, an average test player. I wanted to be a very good test player or a great test player, and I think there's a line in everyone's career where they feel comfortable in the side and they feel like it's just another game of cricket. I know it's test match cricket, but I don't know whether you know what I mean. But
no.
And that's the same in Shield cricket as well. Like there's a little thing that happens where you go, right, you know what, I'm really entrenched in this side, and you're able to relax and play your best test match cricket. I never really, I mean, I had games where I felt like that, but I never had long periods of time where I felt like that in the Australian cricket team. And And that was because, the depth was so good. But, that's where, Justin Langer, Matthew Hayden, Ricky Ponting, they were all able to sort of, get through that period and then really feel part of the side and then play their best Test match cricket. And I just wasn't able to quite crack it, which was a little bit disappointing.
All right, on to my favourite game of your cricketing career, Bluey, and you obviously know which one that is.
I think we all know which one that is, mate.
So the Shield final here, and you think it was a game which fluctuated. Like those of us who followed Shield cricket knew, hey, this guy Gilchrist is pretty special, but geez, he did announce that in the Shield final. And then, the game ebbed and flowed. We didn't bat quite as well, out of the game. And probably, interestingly enough, the fielding by you and Buff really helped us. People forget that you got 2 vital run-outs. You ran Damien Martin out, I reckon, on memory.
Yep.
Got the first wicket of the game too, Bluey. And that just go through. And then you batting on the last day, and you were absolutely plumb LBW if we were playing 9 stumps. That was a shocking decision. Go through that. And, you went for a drive as well, Bluey. Go through the whole game.
I was going to ask about that.
Go through it, mate.
Yeah, it was just an incredible game. I mean, when people look at the scoreboard and they see that, Gilly made those runs at a run a ball or whatever it was, they scored a huge total. But they also probably don't realise that it rained for a quite a long period of that innings. Like it was almost
drizzle, wasn't it?
I reckon, Malcolm, where it was just like a light drizzle, which wasn't enough for us to go off. But it was just ideal batting conditions where, the spin bowlers couldn't bowl, or if they did, it just, there was no purchase. They couldn't hold the ball properly. And same with the quicker bowlers. Like it just skidded on. There was no side. It was absolutely perfect batting conditions. So we're on the wrong end of it there. But then from then on, we obviously just had to try and hang in there. And at one stage when I was batting with James Brayshaw in the second innings, we thought we could get the runs. And then he played a
terrible
shocking shot against Brad Hogg and donged one straight up in the air. And from then on, Jamie Siddons came out to bat and he couldn't run or couldn't hardly move with his injury. I think it was a hip or a groin. So it was a matter of just trying to save the game. And then I remember I got out not long after the second new ball was taken, and I honestly thought that was it. I thought that was the game, and it was the only time I've ever cried when I came off the bat.
You weren't alone there, Bluey. Yeah,
I was in tears. Yeah, probably along with you, Malcolm. So I thought the game was gone, and then we were watching on for a while, just waiting for the last few wickets to fall, and then, as we know, Shane George and Peter McIntyre, who both are absolute rabbits with the bat, were able to hold on. But it was like literally excruciating to watch. Like every over felt like half an hour. And I just thought, in the end, I just can't watch this. So I just, thought I'd just jump in my car, go for a drive, and try and kill some time. And so I did that. Came back, we were still going, and then watched the rest of the game with everyone else.
And the countdown with the ball, the ball from the hill, and it
just went forever. Like it just, when you're watching, it's like watching a footy team, try and hang on. Those last couple of minutes just feel like they go forever. And same with, some of the tight Test matches that you're watching as well. The teams trying to hang on for a draw. That last half an hour feels like 2 hours. That's what it was like.
Oh, and it was just huge, wasn't it? When Macca finally blocked that last ball from Brendan Julian, and there was probably about there was certainly over 10,000 at Adelaide Oval by the time, and
everyone came down after work.
Everyone just flooded in, and then that week, the night at the Planet, I reckon, Players and the Planet, and we're back at Adelaide Oval the next night. As a Sheffield Shield nut was huge.
Yeah, no, we partied pretty hard. I reckon we had a ticker tape parade through the city the next day, which I found out late about, and I think I had to rock up in the clothes that I was in the night before. So I had a few stains down the shirt, and anyway, that was pretty cool as well.
Oh, it was just huge. As you know, we'd lost the Shield final the year before at the Gabba, and yeah, just to finally as a South Australian, and we certainly know what's happened since, unfortunately. Yeah, it was just huge, and yeah,
no, it was huge, and that I was in the West Indies with that '95
yeah,
tour.
I did realise that
previous final. So, a few of I think Carl Rackerman came over after that, and he was.
Oh, he would have been painful. Wouldn't he?
All the Queenslanders were out of control. So, it was nice to get the job done the following season.
Yeah, especially bloody Queensland's first ever Shield. Yeah,
exactly.
That ruined a lot of jokes in Australian cricket.
And they haven't looked back since. That's the other thing.
Haven't.
So we'll go through a couple more things here. We'll go quickly here, Bluey. I've done a lot of sports camps with Bluey over the years, Pete, and I'm still doing them with Tony Miles, by the way, Bluey. But Bluey, every year there'll be a throwing competition, and the kids and Bluey would go, oh, my shoulder. I haven't thrown for at least a year, and I'm just pissing myself laughing every time, knowing up come they, and Bluey just casually threw it about 50 yards past him at least every single time. That was always entertaining.
Yep.
And look, for people out there, Doug Walder's drinking stories are all completely true, Bluey. You know, some of those Australian sports camps, let's remember him. Remember that morning where he was throwing the soft drinks just out? You know, we don't want that crap in there. And some of those nights with Doug were just huge. There was one at Pembroke, and I met him that day, and of course, a couple, and I said, I better go. And you're going already? And he walks in, and he gets the rest of a six-pack and another six-pack for his nightcap. So 2 nights later, everyone else had gone. I'm just with Doug, and it was like I got my own sports night. And 4 hours later, still there. The better half's run. We had so many kids today, we had to have a night session. Yeah, it had been a bloody session, that's for sure. It was huge, wasn't it? It was hilarious.
I remember one of those mornings, it was like, it might have been like a 9 a.m. start or something like that. And we were down there and we're trying to get organised, and it might have been about, 8:40 or something like that. And I heard the ice going and some rustling around, and what's going on over there? And there's Dougie packing the esky for the end of the day. So that was 8:40 in the morning. So he was getting his priorities right. Now I remember him taking some batting. So I think he used to do the shadow batting or something like that. Yep. And we go, right, Doug, you ready? And he'd sort of have a fag in his mouth, and I'm right. And there'd be 50 kids in front of him, and he's putting out his smoke. So I
remember one kid asked him how to play the reverse sweep shot.
Don't do it. Yep.
Dougie's replied, "It's a very easy shot to play. You try it, and I kick you in the ass."
Now, mate, you obviously stuck around with a little bit of cricket coaching after your playing days. Do you want
Australian fielding coaching role too, Bluey? Go through that, mate.
Yeah, delve into that a bit.
There was never really an intention, to be honest. I sort of went straight from my playing days into my media career. So that was all going beautifully until Channel 10 got the rights for the Big Bash. So I was working for Fox Sports at the time, or Fox Cricket, and all of a sudden I was like, right, well, the rights are gone. Do I stay with Fox and work a little bit less? Then I'd have to go on the road again, probably, do some international series, all that sort of stuff. And then I was over in England, and Buff just got the job with the Australian cricket team. And he rang me, said, "Carl, let's catch up." And I just thought, it was just a normal sort of catch up. And then he said, "Do you want to come on board?" And I was like, "Oh, shit." Never really, thought about it. And then I thought about it for a week or so. And then I just thought, you know what, if I'm ever going to, sort of scratch that itch, I suppose, with coaching, whoever gets the chance to start their coaching career with the Australian cricket team. And I just thought, it's too good an opportunity to not take up. So I did that for a few years, and the family started growing again, so I didn't want to sort of stay on the road. So established myself back here in Adelaide. So, and then I started doing some coaching with the Redbacks. And then it sort of got to the decision where, do I want to pursue coaching? Do I want to be a head coach? And then I thought, with a young family, how many coaches, get past 4 or 5 years where they don't have to move again? And I didn't want to do that with a young family. So I sort of got back into the media. So that's how that all went. But the Australian stuff was brilliant, getting back with elite players and, experiencing World Cups and Ashes series in a different way was absolutely fantastic. I loved it.
Was it more relaxed? How did it vary? What you sort of, obviously as a player, you're tense. It's personal. It's inward. How about the overall function? How did you feel? And like trying to improve Travis Head as a fielder was one role, which you spent a fair bit of time with, where he's not a natural fielder. Just go through some things there, Blewett.
No, it was definitely a lot more relaxing. Not so much. I was an assistant coach, so
yeah.
A lot of the pressures on the head coach
yep.
and the captain and that. But I quickly realised it was really fickle being the fielding coach as well. Like if you had a great game, everyone held their catches, then you were brilliant. And then as soon as a few catches went down, it was like, what are you doing? What's going on? So it was really, I found it a little bit frustrating that way. But I was able to really, when you're playing, obviously the nerves are there, and as a coach, you're nowhere near as nervous. I mean, the nerves are certainly there, but you're able to, enjoy it and sit back and watch the guys do their thing and be involved with it was really enjoyable. I loved it. But being back on the road was, a bit more difficult with a young family and going from country to country was challenging.
Of course, there was a bit of promotion there of Sam's golf there for a while. How's your youngsters? They still into their golf as much? Or
no, Sam. I said to Sam the other day, actually, do you want to have a go for a hit of golf? And he was like, "Yep." He's never ever said no. But and then young Rory, who's 7 now, he was out. I've got a golf net in the backyard, so he was out there hitting a few balls the other day. But no, they're bloody cricket nuts. They love their cricket. So Sam had his first season last year, and Rory's going to have his first season this summer. So
is that with Walkerville or school or
at Walkerville?
Yeah.
At Walkerville for now. I just wanted to introduce cricket to them and see whether they liked it or not. And then we'll go from there. But at the moment, they're playing for the Walkerville Panthers under 10s and play Sunday mornings, and it's brilliant. I love it. I love going out with them. It's great.
Of course, media-wise, Bluey, Triple M mainly, and the commentary with the Test match in Channel 7. Go through just how those sort of roles vary, and well, I reckon putting up with Andrew Jarman, you deserve a medal for that anyway. But yeah, just go through that, Bluey.
You better throw Bernie Vince in there as well. I've got to put up with him.
Yeah, but unless he's more funny, I reckon.
No, very, very enjoyable. I love those boys. They're sort of like a second family now. And same with their families. Like, we've all gotten to know each other really well. So, hopefully that comes across on air as well.
Yep.
Like, we're just
it does. It does come across that you have good fun.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So, yeah, that's with Triple M Rush Hour. So we're Monday to Friday, 4 till 6. So been doing that for a few years now. So that takes up most of my time during the year. And then I'm flat out during the summer with both Triple M Cricket and Channel 7 Cricket as well. So little bit of Big Bash, but mainly Test matches. So, follow the circus around each summer. So
and how does that vary? It's like the Channel 7 side's probably a bit more serious side, a bit more intense than what the Triple M, where you have a bit more fun as well. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, well, TV's a completely different beast to what radio is. Often for people don't often know, for Channel 7, we've got to be there. We've got to be on site most days 3 hours before the first ball's bowled. So, whereas, radio, you rock up sort of half an hour before the first ball's bowled. So, yeah, completely different. Very long days for television. And yeah, so I suppose a little bit more structured with the TV.
That's
and then,
the word I was after.
And then,
yep.
and then radio, especially Triple M, it's pretty loose. So it's both of them. You know, you've got to have. They're probably good for each other. Like you know, my radio work's probably good for my television, and television's probably good for my radio. So it works out pretty well.
Have you ever been
a bit like us here, mate?
Yeah, I wish. Ever been like on the TV side and sort of like almost forgotten, and you've been still thinking on radio wise?
No, not really. Like it's probably good because you go from, you actually don't get much time off. Like you might get a half an hour block off from time to time, but a lot of people that just work in television or just work in radio, like in between your shifts, you go out the back and you're chatting, and you probably miss a little bit of cricket. But when you're doing both, you're obviously keeping your mind and your eyes on the cricket pretty much the whole time. So you're just picking up little things all the time. So I really like it, and it makes the days go a lot quicker as well.
Yeah, there's once, Bluey, you're commentating on radio, test match in Melbourne, and there's a questions come up, name the last Australian batsman who's top scored in both innings. And I'm driving, Pete. I've got my trailer on, actually very close to your place, Bluey. It was down St. Peter, driving along Stephen Terrace. And I'm trying to ring Bluey, so I finally got a spot to pull over. And because the question had gone back, and you guys would go all on air, and you're going, is it Dean Jones? Is it this? Is it that? And it's going for quite a while. Being the cricket nuffy I am, I realised straight away it had been Peter Siddle who top scored both innings in a test match we got annihilated in India, I think it was. And Bluey's just read it. I've just got a message from a mate in Adelaide, and while I don't know, I know he will be correct, and it's Peter Siddle. Little did I know that there'd been bloody prize on the radio, and I didn't realise, and I could have rung up and got that. But yeah, so that was a bit of fun though, Bluey.
Yeah, you took too long to find a part.
Yes. Yeah, well, I wasn't exactly the easiest spot at that stage. So.
Well, any help I can get is always a bit of a bonus, because that's what they like to do in the media. They put you on the spot, and then you're like, geez. So we always need a bit of help.
Yeah, that's where the nuffy in me comes out.
Yeah,
handy side of things.
That's a good pub quiz question there that would stump a lot of people, really, even the cricket sort of nuts that are going around, apart from the one sitting across from you right now.
There was another amusing one. Bluey was captain of South Australia in a one-day game against Tasmania, and we had to get a bonus point to keep our season alive. I think it was either to qualify for the final or make sure we were still a chance to make the final. And I didn't think much of Bluey's field placements and may have let him know. And Bluey's realised it was me, and he's done the motion, you come out and do better, that line.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm sitting with John Edwards, who does listen to the podcast. G'day, Chook. And Chook's gone, well, go on. They can't ping you for going on. He's told you to get on the ground. So yeah, that was a bit of Bluey and I have had a laugh about that coaching, and I think you went, yeah, I can see what you meant afterwards, and yeah, so it was a bit of fun. And then maybe in a Shield game, this did come up with Peter McIntyre when we had Macca on.
Yeah.
Now, it was a Shield game against Queensland. You actually got relegated batting down the order in a run chase quite early in your career.
Yeah.
And came out to bat, and there was a few people who started heckling you from the crowd. We got up and in the Magic Cave afterwards, and Mac has just stormed into the bar. How dare you have a crack at young Blewett, rah, rah, rah. And I've just gone, no, it wasn't me, Macca. And he's that bullshit, rah, rah. And the guy, Jeff Wilson, who also listens to the podcast, has gone, I'd love to say it was Malcolm Macca, but no, he was actually 3 rows behind the guy. And Macca just went, and walked out again. And Macca and I have had a laugh about that since.
More importantly, did I get us home or not?
Yes, you did, Gregory Scott. Okay. I've got to give you that. So, yes.
All right, good.
Yes.
Now, mate, we touched a little bit earlier on about your golfing. I'm sure you'd want to talk a little bit about that, but when you were playing cricket, did you get a little bit of golf in, or is this something that you've taken up since retiring?
No, got a little bit of golf in when I was playing. Like, I sort of used to try and play as much as I could. I thought it was brilliant for my cricket, just to, get away for half a day and concentrate on something other than thinking about, what was coming up in the next couple of days, the start of a game or whatever. I got really frustrated when I was filling in as captain for South Australia, and one of the main media days for a Shield game was the Thursday leading into. You had to sort of do the media on the Thursday leading into the Shield game starting on the Friday, and that was always my main golf day. So that really pissed me off that I had to cancel my golf to come in and do half an hour media. But no, I loved it. And then, since I've finished playing, it's just given me something to really...
And represented South Australia and played in a winning... I'm trying to remember what the golf thing's called.
It's called an interstate series, but so I represented South Australia. I think it was about 40 years of age at that stage, but that was great fun. But it's just given me something to, I suppose, try and... Us ex-sportsmen need something to, really sink our teeth into. So it sort of keeps the competitive juices going a little bit. So I'm still able to do it. I'm 52 years of age now, and I'm still getting it out there a fair way. So
another hole in one recently, Bluey, and geez, we've heard about that a couple of times. Yeah,
I hadn't even come close to getting a hole in one for about 5 years. So one popped up the other day. So I got lucky.
And Ponting v Blewett.
Oh, I'd pay money to see that.
My understanding is it's reasonably competitive when you two play, and like the other players might be a bit more of a giggle. But I think when you play Ponting, it's used to be on a fair bit, Bluey.
Yeah, we're pretty similar. And now that we've started working together for Channel 7, we sneak a few games in here and there. So I think he got the early running, and I reckon I might have got him the last couple of times. So I'm sure this summer it'll be on again.
Well, there's a little bit of a goal for myself. What's the handicap at the moment, mate?
Oh, I'm embarrassed to say that I've slipped out to 3 now.
Oh, Bluey.
So, yeah, it's I've really struggled the last 12 months or so. I've almost I'm not going to say it's the yips, but...
Ian Baker Finches.
I've just struggled a little bit. So I guarantee you, by the end of the year, I'll be back down to scratch. There you go.
Let's put it on the record now that we're the podcast that is going to bring you back to scratch, which would be fantastic, mate. Absolutely fantastic.
I will say one other. It was very funny, and you guys do it very well on radio. Was waiting for you to have the nip and tuck operation. That was very, very funny, Bluey.
Which one was that?
Oh, with Triple M, with waiting for you to have the snip, mate. That was quite amusing. That right. Coverage, yes, that was very good.
Well, we do. I mean, any little sniff that someone gets of someone, doing something that we might get a bit of humour out of, we run with it. So
it was good.
So no, I've no more kids, Malcolm. I'm done. So I'm tied up.
Court Marsh Bowl Lily finally, mate.
Exactly.
Now, one other subject. We will go serious for a minute or two, because this is a subject very close to my bone with Chris Grieger, motor neuron. Of course, you lost your mum Shirley to motor neuron as well, Bluey.
Yep.
And,
that was
terrible,
10 years ago, actually.
Yeah.
So time flies, but yeah, that was a horrible time in our lives, and sort of caught us all by surprise. I didn't know anything about motor neurone until Mum was diagnosed, and it was one of those. Fortunately, now it's a lot. I mean, that they've got a lot better at diagnosing motor neurone. Because with Mum, it took us ages. We were like, we knew something was up, but the doctors just couldn't put their finger on it.
Well, they eliminate everything else before they declare motor neuron is
that's right.
Probably the best way of describing it.
Yeah. Whereas now they're a lot better. So I've recently come on board as an ambassador for MNDSA. I'm doing the big freeze on Thursday night at
Yep.
the Adelaide Oval. That's for Fight MND. So two totally separate, different charities. But I'm doing that on Thursday. So just trying to get a lot more involved. I feel like now it was all very raw for me, Malcolm. So I feel like now I can sort of, now use some of my platforms to help out.
And that's why I brought it up, Greg, because I knew you were doing that Thursday. And along those lines as well.
We did the big walk the other day, which was brilliant. 900 people down at the River Torrens and raised over $100,000. So, it was great.
Yeah, that was with Greggy's daughter working there now as well. And it's
that research and the money that's being raised can only be a really, really good thing.
Yeah, I was trying to think about his name there. Apologies. Bluey, we'll get you out of it on righto. Hardest batsman to bowl to, bowlers to bat against. Go for it, mate.
Hardest batters to bowl to. I'll tell you what, Brian Lara gave me a serious touch-up, as did Tendulkar. So
both those two could bat a bit. They went all right.
They're the obvious ones. The guy that I found was the hardest was Curtly Ambrose. He was played a lot of cricket against Curtly, and he was just. There was one thing to survive, but the other thing was to try and score off him. And you combine the both, and he was just relentless. Just
his height and length to bowl at you, and the bounce to hit the splice.
His pace was one thing. I never really struggled a lot against the pace, but the bounce was always, I think, more difficult than pace.
Yeah.
So, he was a handful.
Bluey, greatly appreciated, mate.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much for your time.
And Pete's also got to hear your answering machine now, mate. So,
Well, that and hopefully we inspire you to get back up to scratch on the golf course there, and good luck for the season coming up.
No. All right, good on you, lads.
Thanks Bluey. Greatly appreciated. Thanks, Greg.
All right, see you, boys.
Thanks, mate.